Dear participants, welcome back. We have made it to our final session 6. There's been a lot of information to digest over the last 2 days of the EIT Manufacturing Summit 2020, the very first one, and we have had a couple of technical difficulties obviously on the end of these last 2 sessions. Is it breaking again? Can I carry on? So I'm going to carry on. Please bear with me. We have spent a lot of time, obviously, over the last 2 days, and particularly today, looking at results and achievements and at the many projects that have benefited from the support, engagement, and advice and networking of EIT manufacturing. So for our final closing session, I am absolutely delighted to welcome all of the CLC directors spanning the multiple countries and different geographical zones. You've seen a number of them in the videos leading up to this last session. So I'm very pleased to welcome Björn Fagerström, who is Managing Director of EIT Manufacturing North. He's up in Gothenburg. Perhaps just wave your hands, guys, there, and let me know that you can hear me. Hi, Björn. Hannes Hunschowski is Managing Director, EIT Manufacturing in the CLC East. He's based in Vienna, has the most countries and a lot of risk countries. Gian Mario Maggio is Managing Director of the CLC South, based in Milan, Italy, and covering Italy, Switzerland, and Malta, plus some new risk countries, Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Kosovo, and Montenegro very recently. Tony Pijuan is the Managing Director of EIT Manufacturing CLC West in San Sebastian, so he's covering Spain, Portugal, and France. Quite an interesting area there. And Christian Bölling, last but not least, is on the screen here with us, Managing Director of EIT Manufacturing CLC Darmstadt, and I think that is the CLC Central. So he's covering Germany, Benelux, Ireland, plus Poland, and I think formerly the UK with Poland as the risk country. Welcome, gentlemen. Can you all hear me loud and clear? Let's have a thumbs up. Wonderful. Super. So, as we've discussed, because we had some discussions before, I'm going to do a tour de table with the following question. I'd like each of you to just sort of outline very quickly in a nutshell the challenges for each of your regional innovation ecosystems. And Björn Fagerström up in Sweden, I'd like to start with you.
Thanks a lot and welcome to CLC North. In summary, we need to engage more companies and more people into our North ecosystem and ensure that we jointly execute competitive projects with high impact, resulting in a better society. And in North, we have many small countries in terms of population, covering a huge area. So we need to be very good at collaboration over borders. And we need to ensure that we have a domestic, as our domestic market is too small, we need to ensure that we collaborate over borders. And extensive traveling is needed as we are distributed on so huge area, which has been very demanding during the COVID-19. And the innovation ecosystem in North looks different in different countries. It's quite well developed, but certainly somewhat fragmented. So we need to develop a better common understanding for the entire North ecosystem and ensure that we develop good projects that can be utilized for creating real change in the manufacturing industry. That was all from North, and over to East and Hannes. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Welcome from beautiful Vienna. Here we are supporting the CLC East region, which is unique in many aspects. It is a rather fragmented region compared to the other CLCs, with over 12 countries, and only one of them, namely Austria, is considered a strong innovator, whereas the other 11 countries are falling under the categories of modest and moderate innovators, according to the European Innovation Scoreboard. These countries are relatively small, with a small population totaling less than Germany alone. That's why it's so essential that we have now a strong network of risk hubs already in place in an early stage and can work closely with them in all aspects of the knowledge triangle. Based on this structural buildup of the region, it is by no surprise that we also have a relatively high ratio of small and medium manufacturing companies. Like here in Austria, 99.6% of all companies are considered SMEs by the EU definition. but many of these SMEs are so-called hidden champions. They are very successful in their niche, mostly B2B companies with a high degree of innovative activity, a very high export ratio, reflecting a responding demand of pan-European connection integration. This demand we aim to address, especially by the CLC East and the EIT manufacturing risk activities. The West Balkan countries are a region that have a very high importance to grow for us, where we want to intensify the collaboration with all the local stakeholders, working hand in hand with the risk management and the CLC South. And Gian Mario can tell us more about this. Gian Mario.
Thank you, Hannes. Indeed, as CLC South, we will be supporting 4 more countries, as it was mentioned, namely Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, and Montenegro. And we are very glad to include them in the CLC South ecosystem and to work with them. So, as the first challenge that we see is how to integrate these countries that are not part of the EU27. And so we are facing a diversity issue because these are also countries with a different background, different language and culture. And generally speaking, at CLC South, we are facing this issue with diversity, with very different countries in terms of innovation capacity. For instance, we have Italy, which is the second largest manufacturer, and it is characterized by large presence of SMEs. And on the other hand, we have Switzerland, which is leading in terms of innovation worldwide, which is also specializing in high quality goods. So the other challenge that I see is indeed related to SMEs, and there are many SMEs in Southern Europe that are more family-run businesses that need modernization, that also need to become more international. So this is the kind of a challenge that I see coming up also in terms of the transition towards Industry 4.0 for these kind of companies. Thank you, and I would like to hand over to Tony from CLC West.
Okay, thank you, Gian Mario, and welcome you all from today cloudy and rainy San Sebastian, I have to say. Yeah, on my side, I would like to brief the challenges in 3 main topics. The first one, it has been already highlighted by my previous colleagues, is diversity. And although at CLC West, we only cover 3 countries, they are also very, very different. We have from Portugal, which is a small economy in terms of Western Europe standards, and most of the manufacturing actors are SMEs located in northern Portugal. And we have Spain, which is a large country, but still with quite a low innovation scoring. And then we have France, which is it's among the 3 top manufacturing countries in Europe, and mostly driven by big corporates. The second challenge for us is the brand awareness. We had yesterday Martin Kern, the director of EIT, that highlighted that last year we celebrated the 10th anniversary of EIT. But still, EIT is not, it's quite of an unknown tool, especially for industries, which is at the heart of our topic of manufacturing. And not only this, but for those who know EIT, they still consider it as a grant instrument. So there's a lot of work to be done there. And also, especially focus on SMEs. SMEs tends to think that European initiatives are quite of a bureaucratic tool and quite disconnected from their day-to-day business. So we have to build up some bridges there. And finally, the third topic is the industry of obsolescence. Our CEO yesterday highlighted that the major challenges that we're facing on manufacturing is digitalization, sustainability, and competitiveness. But also, I would like to say that industry modernization is probably at the top of all the national political agenda. But absolutely, in the case of Portugal and Spain, there's not so much of an innovation program. So most of the industry still relies on the EU framework programs. But then France is slightly different. They do have a stronger agenda, and actually it goes even beyond their borders throughout this trilateral cooperation for Industry 4.0 that France has signed with Italy and Germany. And absolutely that brings also opportunities for CLC West to collaborate with CLC South and CLC Central. So in this respect, I would like to hand over to my colleague Christian to tell us more on Central.
Yeah, Thank you very much, Tony. And yeah, welcome from Darmstadt in Germany. It's more so to say in the middle of Europe, 20 minutes from Frankfurt Airport, you can reach the world and Europe. And Tony mentioned already, so CLC Central has, of course, due to its location, a strong traditional manufacturing network in Germany that's already close connected to the French ecosystem in Baden-Württemberg area and so on. So there we already have a strong collaboration, and there we can already achieve cross CLC actions. But CLC Central is far more than only Germany. And as already mentioned, we cover Ireland, we cover the Benelux countries, and we cover Poland as a risk country. And our challenge will be, together with my team here, to build a valuable and vital EIT manufacturing ecosystem in all regions and connect them to work with each other and then work across the borders of our CLC. And yeah, one topic which was already mentioned is, of course, the importance of the risk countries. So we aim to especially attract the Polish manufacturing industry to join our network to innovate together with us. And last but not least, all colleagues have mentioned that even in a well-developed area like Germany, we have to actively engage with our SMEs. There are a lot in Germany as well. There are a lot of hidden champions as well. We need to connect with them. We need to actively engage with them and involve them in our activities so that we can support them in topics like digitalization of the working environment and decreasing of CO2 footprint. Yeah, that's from my side, and then handing over back to Karin.
Thanks very much, Christian Bölling. And I'm just noticing that I neglected to introduce Klaus Beetz, the CEO of EIT Manufacturing, who has also joined us on the screen. He's back down in Bavaria. So hi, Klaus, and thanks for being with us. We'll get to you
Karin.
in just a moment. So thank you very much to Christian, Tony, Gian Mario, Hannes, and Björn. And Björn, I think I made a mistake there because your CLC North is the one with the soon-to-be former EU member, UK. And I'd like to start, just come right back round full circle to you to ask you, we've talked about all these very different challenges across these different European geographies, an incredible concentration of SMEs. So obviously Europe's usual diversity that we love to consider it a strength, but it does represent a number of challenges for your work in those areas. Tell us, what are your sort of main priorities for action as we go into 2021, which is sure to prove no less challenging than 2020?
Thanks. Back to cold, rainy north. And we need to work with innovation in north with an inclusive leadership. We believe in the common brain power of the entire north region in order to create real impact. And by that, we will climb higher in the overall global innovation index, starting from a quite high level. Our network needs to expand at all levels. We need more partners, activity partners, network partners, and other actors in the ecosystem. We alone cannot create the intended impact, so we need to work in networks, and together we can execute demanding projects, resulting in good success stories, and that will support our future development. And we need to be very good at working together with startups and SMEs, as these are very critical for our future development, and they are also important for building a green economy. So we need to build efficient clusters, so these companies can have test facilities, pilot production, and then resulting in industrialization and volume production within North or EU, obviously. And it's a critical part for these startups and SMEs to have these facilities close by. So you have a joint effort to do engineering and manufacturing, and by that you have a learning environment, and that is how we build our future. And we will have an overall more efficient system, and that will take us to next level, and what we can survive in the long term. So that's all from North for this time, and welcome back to Hannes in East.
Thank you, Björn. It is of particular concern for our region here to really strengthen the innovative capacity to integrate manufacturing stakeholders in our pan-European network and to assure a higher degree of participation in all of our programs. In addition, we will try to balance all aspects of our knowledge triangle to avoid brain drain from EIT risk-eligible countries and assure that upskilled talents will find local opportunities and appropriate challenges in their own countries. That we are on the right track showed us the upcoming Ideation Connection event, where we provide a kind of a pre-matchmaking platform for future EIT projects that has received 46 applications. 36 of them were from risk countries within the first 2 weeks of its announcement. Needless to say, we are very excited about this trust and support of our programs. And you know, Karen, in the wake of COVID-19 and the fear of future disruptions, large industries are rethinking their supply chain setup and are looking for some safer, more reliable and sustainable options. CLC East, together with the hubs, is prepared to address this demand in our region, together with national, regional and local authorities. CLC East is very well positioned for this by serving ecosystems in a political and financially stable environment and strengthening them through the focused support of innovators, organizations, individuals, entrepreneurs, and manufacturing talent for a future Europe that is leading the manufacturing innovation worldwide. And now to Gianmario.
Thank you, Hannes, and welcome back to Milan. So regarding CLC South, the first priority that we see for next year is to enlarge the partnership with a focus on industry. In fact, the EIT Manufacturing has set an ambitious goal to grow the partnership to 120 members by end of 2022. So we plan to contribute to this overall goal at the European level. As a second priority, I see the need to integrate the co-location that has been recently established in the local innovation ecosystem. And in this respect, we want to develop synergies and collaboration with the existing stakeholders. So we want to avoid the duplication. On the contrary, we want to partner up with existing stakeholders, such as, for example, competence center and digital innovation hubs to support SMEs that I mentioned are part of the challenge that we face here at Co-location Center South. Last but not least, cooperation with RIS will be definitely a priority for 2021. We need to integrate the new Western Balkan areas, but also we need to work more closely with some of the countries in the Mediterranean region, namely Malta, but also Southern Italy, where so far we had only a limited impact. And finally, we'll be also looking at potentially establishing RIS hubs in order to connect to potential multiplier organizations in the region. Thank you, and I hand over to Tony once again, CLC West.
Thanks, Mario. Yeah, actually, from EIT Manufacturing West, I want to start by saying that I'm so honored to say that our partners here, they're already very active and committed to our community. In fact, I was just looking at the business plan 2020, and their participation corresponds to nearly 30% of the overall business plan. So that's something I'm particularly feeling proud of. But there's still room for improvement. And here, basically, the actions for this year will be in first, of course, in the community enlargement, as my previous colleagues has pointed out. In CLC West, we currently have 15 members, so we want to grow the number of members in the community. But also, we have already 23 SMEs participating throughout various activities, and those figures would like to be increased. And also, on the first edition of the Boost app, we received 34 applications. So those are nice numbers, but it's not enough. There's more. And also, very especially on the network partners, we are signing out collaboration agreements with centers of excellence, clusters, incubators, accelerators. Basically, because the aim is to avoid duplication on ongoing activities, but to collaborate together. The second point will be focuses on risks. As also in CLC West, we have 2 out of the 3 countries that belongs are considered EIT risk countries, Portugal and Spain. And as I said before, we have to work out better on creating awareness on EIT and particularly EIT manufacturing activities, and also with a special focus to increase their innovation scoreboard. The third point is on education. This year we have been focused mostly, and I think that's kind of shared among my colleagues also in other CLCs, we've been mostly focused on business creation and innovation deployed activities. Next year also we would like to strengthen the local level on education activities by integrating an education developer, but with a special focus on exploiting the results. And finally, the cross-KIC collaboration. Cross-KIC is absolutely a great opportunity to systematic change. Actually, I think Antonetta Angelova mentioned it yesterday, our guest speaker from the GARC. And absolutely, we do have some presence from CLC West in several cross-KIC initiatives. And just to give you an example, we have set up a cross-KIC working group in Spain that unifies all 8 KICs with presence in Spain. So we go all together to meet the national and regional authorities as a full community, so to be recognized as a valid agent to support the next generation EU mechanism. So that's just an example, and I'm sure that we'll be successful on this. And I guess similar ideas would be shared by my colleague, Christian. So Christian, your time.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. And of course, CLC Central is already or has already 18 members, and of course, this is quite a substantial part of EIT manufacturing. Nevertheless, we are also aiming to grow, especially, of course, in those countries where we have not that strong presence as in Germany for the time being. As my colleagues mentioned, we also want to grow into several areas. So we want to attract new members. We want to attract activity partners, especially startups, SMEs, but also the network partners, where we have already established some collaboration, and we want to increase that collaboration during 2021. And the aim is to cover all regions within the different partnerships. And let me come back to the risk topic. So CLC Central only has one risk country, it's Poland. And I guess here we have a special focus on it. This year, the Risk Hub was established. We will have next year the first participation in our projects from Polish partners. And we want to strengthen that. And that means, on the one hand, connecting the Polish manufacturing industry with our Western European partners, to transfer best practices, but I guess more importantly, and I guess this is also quite in line with the expectation of EIT, is to increase the innovation capacity in Poland, that we will, that we can deliver innovation from Polish community in the coming years. So this will be a strategic topic, and it will be an important topic for 2021. And let me come back also to the cross-KIC activities. As Tony mentioned, we are already quite active in a lot of the cross-KIC activities, and one which will give us a certain visibility in next year is our cross-KIC activity on digitalized test beds. We are leading that from EIT Manufacturing, and CLC Central is the responsible entity. And here we are working together with EIT Digital and EIT Food. And in 2021, we will build a test bed with regard to food and beverage production. And I guess this is also quite relevant. Björn mentioned that that we established really hardware capacity to test and validate technologies. And this allows us, especially our startups, scale-ups, SMEs, to get access to those facilities to validate their technologies, but on the other hand, also taking care of the knowledge triangle integration. We can then also establish, and we will establish, education activities on the cross-cutting edge between industry and academia, which allows us then to build and upskilling programs for workers, for different target groups as well.
Obviously,
so that's from CLC Central, and thank you, and back to Karin.
Thank you very much, Christian Bölling, obviously outlining really all of the sort of foundational pillars for EIT manufacturing, cross-kit collaboration key here, obviously, to make sure that all of the synergies are being capitalized on, that no knowledge is going to waste. Expansion and growth in networks, strengthening innovation capacity, obviously higher degree of participation in EITM programs is desirable, but and to increase outreach, but a lot of great work has been done, and we can see that you're very committed. Terrific work, guys, and thank you so much for coming on screen and that this session functioned. And I'd like to wish you all the best for 2021, which will be a challenging one, but there's obviously a lot to do, and everybody knows where to start with getting more sustainable, more flexible, and changing those mindsets out there in the countries that need the push of EITM as the most. So stay safe and all the best for the holidays. And I'm going to just call Klaus Beetz to stay with me here on the screen. Bye-bye to Björn and to Christian, Gian Mario, Tony, and to Hannes in Vienna. Thanks for joining us so much at this first EIT Manufacturing 2020 Summit. Klaus, it has been a very busy year. It's been a really eventful 2 days. You were here with me in the studio yesterday. Can I have Klaus Beetz back on the screen here with me? Because I'm not finished with him yet. There you are, Klaus. And obviously a very eventful couple of days, and particularly today, and you're already back in Bavaria. I'm going to give you the floor to sort of say some closing words for this summit, to give us your synopsis of what you've seen and the next steps forward. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Karin. And I'm very pleased. And I have to say a big thank you. First of all, to you, Karin. You did an excellent job in moderating, also with the technical difficulties we had to face. So a big thank you, Karin, and congratulations for the very good job you have done. And then the whole team behind the scene in the studio, and of course, the communication team of EIT Manufacturing and all the partners, the activity leads, the project leads, they prepared all the presentation, the booths. So a big thank you to the whole community. I think this was our first summit, and it was a quite successful summit. I personally, I am in the daily work. I'm not that deep into the project. I was really impressed by all the work what this was brought forward and by the innovations that were already delivered this year by the community. So this makes me very promising to look into the future in the next year. And also I'm very happy that yesterday our prime ministers agreed and approved the budget for the next 7 years. So also we are now in a better situation. We can plan for 2021 and the years ahead. And also during the night that the Prime Minister again emphasized on the climate goals till 2030. I mean, this is a stimulus for us, really, to go to support the European manufacturing industry in the transition towards the decarbonization of industry and towards the circular economy. So it confirms, and also maybe a last point, for me, all the discussions also we had with the auditoriums, all the questions come up, it confirms the strengths and the uniqueness of the EIT's innovation model. We heard a lot about the necessity to upskill, to reskill our workforce at all levels, from the management over the plant director till the shop floor. So bringing together innovation, education, and business creation is the right way to support Europe's industry. With the business creation, with startups, we will inject new ideas, new technologies into the manufacturing domain. With our education activities, we will teach not only the children, the students in our master school and doctoral school, but also the workers at the shop floor. So it was for me a confirmation that the KICs are the right instrument and that we, as a KIC for EIT Manufacturing, are on the right way. We have in our strategy put the right topics with the circular economy, with the digital economy in the focus.
Thank you so much, Klaus, for that great overview and for those very warm words. Obviously, a thank you from my side also to our technical crew and our incredible comms team. Always, it was definitely fantastic to have gotten that positive news this morning that the budget has been agreed upon, that we can have some clarity going into 2021. I think this is important across all sectors, and it's a perfect impetus for EIT manufacturing to act on that stimulus. So a sunny outlook despite the dark December days that we are experiencing now. And with the COVID pandemic, I'd like to thank all of our speakers for taking part in this EIT Manufacturing Summit. Thanks very much to Klaus Bates, the CEO, and to all of our partners, and to you, the participants, but also to the speakers. Next on the agenda, obviously, is the long-awaited Boost Up Final, which we've talked about a number of times. So all the best, and do enjoy whoever's taking part in that. Have a safe and cozy festive season, ladies and gentlemen, participants far and wide. Thank you so much for joining in and for bearing with us through a couple of technical difficulties on this day. But as we say in German, alles gut, endet gut, guten Rutsch into 2021. Have a great holiday season, much success on your path forward to manufacturing excellence in Europe. And with that, I close this EIT Manufacturing Summit 2020. Take good care.